7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
You'll never have the sacred stone.
Oh, this you crazy mother...
Hello and welcome to episode 12 of the Start Reset podcast. I was about to give the date there, but I don't know when this is going to go live. We are recording this on the 29th of March. I've got Michael over there already fucking giving me a goddamn hard time.
Ah, God.
Joined as always
yourself a hard time.
by Mr. Michael Smith. What's going on, dude?
Not too much, man. How's it going, bro?
Not too bad. Just
Not too bad.
Not too bad.
That's what's up, man.
No.
What?
I don't know. This is a good start to this episode.
It's a really engaging start.
So, hey, I just realized something.
So, what'd you realize?
This is like, we're into 6 months now, this podcast.
We are. Indeed.
We started in September. This is like our half a year. This should be like a big episode or something. It's not
definitely
going to be, but it should
somebody
be.
Didn't contribute any content to the outlines.
Hey, I've been busy. Not all of us get to have. If you're putting a game into your analog right now, I will just straight up drive over to your house.
I'm not
and murder
putting
you.
in my analog.
No, I see the glow of the fucking TV on your face.
There's zero glow. What glow can you see?
I can see the TV. I can also hear the music now.
You don't
do
hear
this
anything.
every time we record. Yes, I do. I'm gonna fucking murder you,
It's
dude.
just for your intro, because it's so gay.
Oh my god.
Nah.
Do you want to start doing the intro? Do you want to lead the show?
Nah, dude,
guys,
you got this.
we're having some marital problems, as you can tell. All right, Michael, put down the analog. What you been up to, dude?
Not too much, man. Just playing some DuckTales 2.
Yeah,
what about
I'm
you?
gonna fucking murder you.
Nah, not too much, dude. Actually, not too much. Trying to think here. Got my birthday coming up tomorrow, so I'm excited to get the new iPhone SE when it comes out Thursday. Pretty pumped about that.
Yeah.
So I'll be up to that tomorrow. I just got an Apple Watch. Pretty exciting. And
How you liking that useless
liking it
piece
so
of
far.
technology?
Really? Useless?
I don't know. Maybe I'm just jealous because I'm the only one now that doesn't have one.
I know, you're not part of the cool Apple Watch club. You gonna get one then, or what?
Nah, probably not.
No?
As much as it was a joke about it being a useless piece of technology, I also kind of believe that too. So
Yeah. I don't know, like, it's definitely like a cool convenience device. Like, being able to, like, even the other night when we were sitting at this, like, horrible movie, which we'll talk about in a few moments here. When we were sitting there, he kept getting, like, text messages and what have you from, like, work. It was easy to just, like, pull my, sleeve up on my shirt and just look at my text messages versus having to, like, pull my phone out that's super bright and annoying. And I know, so much work.
it takes so long to pull the phone out of the pocket. All right, sorry. I used to I used to have like the Galaxy Gear, the original Gear.
That sounds really gay.
That sounds really Pop-Tart.
That sounds really Pop-Tart, I mean.
I found a way to bookmark stuff so that way, or like whatever. Anyways, while we're recording, I can like make edit points basically. Are we doing a podcast or are we sitting here singing songs? I can't figure this shit out, dude. So, anyways, Michael. Yeah.
So what you been up to, man?
No, just got the office set up and everything now. Finally.
Yeah, do that green carpet on your wall looks real official.
Yeah, super official, right?
Yeah.
Hey, everybody goes with green carpet as their first green screen. Don't even worry about it.
Do what you gotta do, man. Do what you gotta do.
Gotta do what you gotta do, bro.
That's right.
But hey, like you and I saw Batman versus Superman on Friday.
We did see Batman versus Superman, or also known as Bat Lit Down versus Super Disappointment.
So
I'm
gonna murder you.
I'm sorry, dude. I know that the big action sequence is coming up for the huge finale of the battle, but let's cut to a hot chick checking her email for the next 10 minutes and opening up attachments.
Time out. Number one, let's keep this spoiler free. We'll have, if you want to have a spoiler cast, we can have a spoiler cast.
So, okay, first off, I don't know how much of a spoiler it is to tell anybody in our audience that before you get to a big battle, you get to watch somebody open their email for 10 minutes.
I'm just saying tread lightly. I'm not saying that was a spoiler. I'm just letting you know, tread lightly.
I will tread super lightly, mother.
So, while treading lightly, what didn't you like about the movie? Because I'm trying to figure out if it's me, like, feeling like I like the movie, like, I don't know, ironically almost, or
I feel like you feel like
denial.
you have to like the movie.
Maybe that's it. Like, I'm such a big Batman fan, and I really liked Man of Steel.
You know what? Everybody hates on Man of Steel, dude. I liked Man of Steel. I just actually went back and watched it 2 days ago. And I was like reading all these reviews where people saying like, "Oh, Batman versus Superman is way better than Man of Steel," and I'm like, "Dude, what's wrong with Man of Steel?" Like, I thought it was.
No, I'm of the mind that Man of Steel is a better movie than Batman versus Superman, but I really can't figure out if I really didn't enjoy the movie or if, like, I feel like I liked it, and I'm defending it to people, but it's like anytime anybody asks me like what you liked about it, I start saying the things that I don't like about it.
You did that the other night when we were talking about it on Xbox Live.
Yeah, dude. I'm like,
dude, what'd you like? You're like, well, I didn't like this and I didn't like that. I'm like, we're talking about what you did like. Yeah, you seem to struggle with that.
Affleck was a good Batman, though.
He was, dude. Like, he was honestly the only good thing about that movie. It's so funny and ironic, too, that
Wonder
the thing
Woman
that I
was
feel
good.
everybody... She's hot. I wouldn't say
No, dude, I thought
good.
she was the most exciting part of that movie.
Most exciting...
Anyways, go on.
All right.
I'm, like, frustrating you, I feel.
I'm trying to calm down. I don't know, man. Like, I feel like Zack Snyder just needs to stop making movies. Like, every movie he makes is some kind of, like, huge brofest movie. And, like, this movie's, like, another example of that. Like, I enjoyed 300. Watchmen... not so much. Batman, dude, I wasn't feeling it, dude. It was like so... everything was just dumb. I hated it. I hated everything about it.
I'm going to put a disclaimer
Except
here.
Batman.
Let's have a little bit of spoiler talk, because I kind of want to dive into some themes of that movie real quick.
Okay.
So, if you guys are not wanting to have the movie ruined, I don't know, fast forward like 10 minutes. So, Michael... I feel like the story was a little disjointed. We use that word a lot here, but I feel like that's a very good way of kind of describing the story of this movie.
Yeah, I agree.
And I know this is a video game podcast, but bear with us, guys. We want to talk about some movies. This all has to do with, this sort of culture thing. The most disappointing thing about it is, like, back when Man of Steel was made, I don't think they were intending to have Ben Affleck play Batman. Yet
no, they didn't. They actually wanted Christian Bale to do it.
So basically, they show scenes as it would have happened from Bruce Wayne's point of view. Like, at the very beginning of the movie, like, that was like the first, 10 minutes of the movie was, hey, how was Bruce Wayne? Like, what was going on with Bruce Wayne
so
that makes him hate Batman?
I thought that was pretty cool. Like, to see, like, the other side of, like, the Man of Steel conflict from Batman's perspective. I thought that was pretty neat. I enjoyed that setup.
It was cool, but I think it was a way for them to try to tell the story of, like, why Bruce Wayne has these ill feelings towards Superman.
Yeah.
And it was kind of just like, we don't really know a better way to do this, so let's just show, this from his perspective, so we're just going to basically recap the last 20 minutes of Man of Steel in the first 10 minutes of this movie. I feel like there could have been a better way to do it. I don't know.
Yeah. I think it's like a good, like, so your, I guess, pain point about that and how they did that, I think it's like a perfect setup and complaint, though, for the rest of the movie, because the movie just has no motives. Like, as much as they try to give motive to the movie has legitimately these motives that are just, like, strung together by the finest of strings that, like, walking out of there, my wife, as we're driving home, like, it's just every kind of, she's like, I don't understand. Why did Lex Luthor hate Superman? Why did he... Like, I mean, and there's obviously reasons behind it, but they didn't do a great job, or even a decent job, of really helping the audience understand why people were doing what they were doing.
For people who didn't, like, watch Smallville, or people who didn't read the comics, they would have no idea why Lex Luthor had all these, like, bad feelings towards Superman.
And that's their
Batman.
problem. Like, dude, they needed to construct this movie in a way that makes it easy for mass audiences to enjoy.
The only thing
he did not do that at all.
The only motive they really gave Jesse Eisenberg's character was he was giving, like, a little, speech in front of a group of people at a party, and he was making some kind of connection with the smartest people aren't the like most powerful people, because Lex Luthor is a very, very like smart guy, super intelligent. He's a genius, right? And I think he's upset because he doesn't have the power that he thinks that he deserves. But they kind of just, I don't know, blazed over it real quick in the, like, I don't know, opening half of the movie. Yeah, you've got people outside your house. I can hear them. It's fine though.
Yeah, I was wondering what that was. I'm like, what the fuck is that noise?
So, like, that's really, like, the only motive of the entire movie is... And then... I'm not going to give away, like, the big spoiler of, like, what happens during the fight between Superman and Batman. Obviously, we know that happens. It's called Batman versus Superman. What I will say is that I'm disappointed that this movie... Stop going through your coin jar.
I'm going through my Lego jar, because I noticed one of my Legos next to me is missing a piece somehow, and I was trying to find a replacement piece for it. It's driving me insane, dude. I need to fix it. I'll stop.
I'm super disappointed that this movie was co-written by David S. Goyer, because this does not seem like he was so good in the in the Dark Knight trilogy.
Yeah,
and the fact that he is credited on this disjointed story, it just doesn't seem like something that I would want to be a part of if I had the track record of David Goyer.
Yeah, I completely agree, man.
So
I think it'll be so interesting to see, like, what this movie does, like, second weekend. Like, Warner Brothers has been touting pretty hard, like, how well they did opening day and how well they did opening weekend for this movie. Ended up doing $166 million over the weekend, including the midnight launch on Thursday previews. It'll be so interesting to see how much this movie drops. I mean, typical drop is about 50 to, like, 55% of, like, your audience. It'll be interesting. I mean, there's no competition, which makes it easy for them to kind of retain some audience, but I'm, like, really curious to see, with all the negative press, like, how much this movie loses audience-wise.
I think it's still going to gather, like you said, there's not a whole lot of competition, and it's a Superman movie. It's a superhero movie. It's going to do well.
Yeah.
I mean, this movie's going to hit $1 billion worldwide, at least.
But that's not really that good when you think about it.
It's not, but it's gonna make its money back. Like, whatever. Like, who knows? Like, what's gonna happen with the Justice League and what's gonna happen with all these character properties they have coming down the pipeline. Did you see the article they were comparing this movie against the Fantastic Four reboot that happened like 2 years ago?
No, why?
So from Friday night through Sunday, when the closing out the weekend. Mm-hmm. They had dropped ticket sales 55%. So day one they made like $80 million.
Yeah.
That was Friday. They made 80 million. On Sunday they made 37 million. If you compare that to Fantastic Four, it only dropped like 47% from Friday to Sunday. So they're saying that, like, they're trying to say like, oh, this movie is like worse than Fantastic Four. I don't really know the comparison they're trying to make. But just to show like the general reception from people kind of quelled, with word of mouth, kind of quelled other people from going to see the movie.
Yeah.
So, but I don't know. I had fun with it at times, and like I think that's why I really want to like the movie. I'm a big Batman fan. I thought Affleck was really good. But man, like, I don't know. I want to defend it, but I don't think I can anymore.
Good. It just makes me that much more excited, by the way, for Civil War. Like, I can't wait for that. Civil War is
going to be good. I think Civil War should have been Age of Ultron, to be honest. Like, that should have been a proper Avengers movie.
Yeah, we've talked about that so much, and just Ultron was just so disappointing, dude.
Yeah, no, I agree. I don't know. I'm excited to see what the next Spider-Man movie kind of holds to. All right, well, I guess we'll hop off of the Batman talk. I don't want like anybody out there that's listening. If you guys want to see it, by all means, go see it. Just
give it your own opinion, right?
Yeah, temper your expectations. And if you guys have a different opinion than us, then feel free to tell us that we're wrong and tell us why. All right, Michael, what you been playing though?
Honestly, man, just The Division. That's all I've been playing.
I think we should have a conversation about The Division.
It's so weird because we haven't yet. Like, we've been playing this game, myself more so than you, over the past, 2 weeks. But I just find it weird that we haven't really talked about this game at all.
We really haven't. We kind of, last week was a news week because we were catching up.
we didn't even talk about what we played last week at all.
Nope, we didn't. I was looking at the online and kind of skimming through the podcast, and I'm like, man, we didn't do that. So
nope.
I think I want to spend a big chunk of time, because it's been a relatively light news week.
Yeah.
Talking about what we've been playing and kind of diving deep into the Division. So I guess initial impressions, I mean, it doesn't even have to be initial impressions, just like, what are your impressions of the game so far? What do you like? What don't you like about it?
So I'm having fun with it, but honestly, I'm only having fun with it because I'm playing with other people. It's kind of like Destiny. Like, I liked Destiny when it first came out, but it got so boring by itself so quickly until I started playing with, like, everybody else. Like, everybody from work, like, all my friends. That's when that game, like, really opened up and made it interesting. And honestly, that's, like, the lifeblood, I think, of, like, any MMO. Like, you can make it, like, the greatest storyline and, like, the best quests and all this stuff. Best game mechanics, but at the end of the day, if you just don't have fun playing it, then what's the point? So, I don't know, man. Like, the Division, it's like a love-hate thing. Like, I love it because it's everybody playing all over again. Dude, every single day on my friends list, if I have 30 people on, I have 25 people playing Division. Like, everyone is just playing this, which makes it cool. Like, I've already hit level 30. We've been running around the Dark Zone for the past, I don't know, like 2 or 3 nights now. Just, like, nonstop, trying to get loot, fighting against other, like, rogues. And, like, that's making it, like, super, super legit. And it makes me, like, kind of like how we had that conversation about Destiny last week, about, you know, development companies and how they don't listen to what their fans want. I think the Dark Zone is kind of like a nice mixture of what I was talking about, of you're in there for a PvE component, but it can turn into a PvP component at any moment if you want it to, or if other people want it to. So it adds, like, another level of, like, tension, another level of excitement to the game. And I like that a lot. I think it's really, really neat. So what I don't like so far is just how samey everything is. Like, the Dark Zone's neat because there's different areas of it that look pretty unique and pretty different. But, I mean, how much different can you make a game look to where it's like you're running around a city? I mean, it's pretty much going to all look the same. So that's, like, one area where I'd say, like, things like Destiny is neat because you have different worlds with different designs and different enemy types and what have you. But I don't know. I've been enjoying the game so far. I'm to the point now where it's just about that loot grind, just trying to get better armor, better weapons, and become more powerful to just fuck people up that much more in the Dark Zone. Yeah,
I don't know. Kind of like to your point about Destiny having other worlds versus this kind of being, you know, just New York City. I feel like, as far as scale goes, if you look at total, like, I don't know, like landmass between Destiny and the Division, I would say that it's probably pretty similar. Now, it's a little bit different because Destiny, obviously, you can get on a Sparrow and ride across, you know, the world, and you get across a little bit faster. So maybe that helps make Destiny feel a little bit smaller, and also warping in and out of, I don't know, like orbit, kind of, I don't know, makes it feel smaller as well because you're not, like, loading into a level seamlessly. The one thing I'll say that I really like about Destiny is just how well, like, it makes you want to continue playing, and I don't know. I really don't know where I was going to go with that. It's a good game. It gets you on that same or a very similar loot grind as Destiny had. One thing I don't like, though, is just how, I mean, you said the word samey, how samey all the weapons and all the gear looks. Like, I can't tell the difference between one backpack to another. You know, maybe it's because I'm only level 20 and I haven't really gotten the good gear yet, the purple and the yellow shit.
It's honestly, it's pretty similar. Like, I have a hard time, like, telling the difference of, like, different armor that I'm wearing, different clothes that you're wearing, because it's just, like, you have so much shit on your character. It's hard to really see what you're looking at anyways. I mean, you can tell the difference between, like, your character and my character, but at the end of the day, it's hard to tell when you get a new piece of armor on your guy, like, that you really look any different, that you look any more unique. So
yeah. I think it's kind of silly, too, that you're not really coming across other players in the non-Dark Zone. You know, you're walking around the city and you don't see, like, Destiny's very much, you know, a shared world game, and you might happen across another player on your path to, I don't know, take down, I don't know, like a Nightfall or something, you know?
You know, even if they didn't, like, if they, like, either the server or the way the world is designed couldn't handle, like, the population of other, like, just random people, like, why not your friends list? Like,
yeah,
you can see it on the overall map. You can see like your little friends running around all over the place, but like you wouldn't actually see them in the world itself. And to me, that's kind of disjointed. It kind of takes away from it. It's kind of weird. I thought it was one of the coolest things ever when I first started playing Destiny. I was walking around, and all of a sudden I just saw one of my friends like fly by in a Sparrow, and I'm like, dude, like how is he in my same game? And like it just blew my mind. I thought it was one of the coolest things ever. So I don't know. That kind of disappoints me as well too. I see your point there.
Yeah, I mean, they do make it super easy to jump in and out with friends. It's like very much like a plug-and-play sort of experience. You click on them, you say join party, and as long as their privacy is open, then, hey, you could jump right in. And same thing, they could jump in with you. But,
yeah,
I want to be instanced in with them if it makes sense for us to, be partied up. So, or just other people in general. Like, the Dark Zone's cool. Like, if you want that sort of element. And I mean, granted, like after you're done with the campaign, that's where you're going to be spending all of your time is the Dark Zone anyway. So you're going to get that experience. But it would be cool, like throughout the story, if they were to make that happen. I'm only sitting at a level 20 right now, so I've got probably 10 hours to go before I cap out, and I've done very little in the Dark Zone. I went into the Dark Zone at like a level 12, which was a mistake, and I got just completely like raped by some level 24 and ads. So
they have different levels of the Dark Zone as well too. Like there's different tiers of it.
Oh, I know there's different tiers when it comes to the PvP element, and I hopped in like a level 1 through 14, like level or whatever, and just the ads there were level 24, like twice my level. I couldn't figure it out. So I might try it again here soon, but my experience so far with that part of the game, I just very limited. So
yeah, you're missing out, man. Strife just picked up the game too. He's on Xbox Live now.
Nice.
You're like the only person just playing on PC, dude.
Yeah, and that's kind of like the issue I'm running into too. Like I've been playing the game, and I play in like 1 hour spurts, 2 hour spurts at most, because I am majorly like playing by myself.
I don't understand. Like you have the ability to play on Xbox One, yet you just refuse to.
It's
you know
not
how easily you can get leveled up with us.
So, two things. I've already put 20 hours into the game, and I don't want to start over from scratch.
Like 20 hours is nothing for a game like that.
It's not, but I just don't want to do the same shit over. Like, and this is like another problem that I have with this game is with Destiny. You have different classes with different abilities.
Yeah.
And each class has like specific abilities that you can only learn under that class. But in Division, like you can spec your guy to whatever you want on the fly. Like you can change it too, you know. So what incentive is there for me to create another character in the Division ever?
No, I agree with that. I mean,
they gave you the choice to make other characters, but
yeah,
why do it?
Yeah, I think if they would have like made the game underneath like the core concept of you have a dedicated healer, you have a dedicated tank,
which is the way that I'm
like assassin, like yeah, and then you can kind of like maybe mix it, right? It's like think about like the more loose Final Fantasy games, like even like with like the junction system to like with 10, to where you can have a character who's like like a tank, but he can ultimately learn different spells to kind of incorporate that into his main character. Ultimately, they're not going to be the most powerful spells, but it gives you a little bit of spells. So it's like, why wouldn't you want like the ability? Like, man, what if I could make an assassin who first and foremost like specs in like full like sniping, like a long range combat, but then I can also maybe set up like some other little perks like light healing abilities or something like that. So it makes it unique, and it makes it, just like you said, like, man, look, I want to roll a different type of character now. I want to start a new character all over and make somebody totally unique to what my last character was. But maybe that'll happen with the expansion content. Maybe we'll see something that changes, but I doubt it.
And I really don't think that model would really work for this type of game, because this game is relatively grounded. Nothing that happens in this game is really out of the realm of possibility of actually happening. It's not like I'm fucking throwing a Nova Bomb out of my fist,
Yeah.
Ever in this game. So maybe that's part of it too. Like, hey, like if you want to respecialize, like, hey, go ahead and do it. So, but yeah, maybe Division gives you, Ubisoft gave you the choice. If you wanted to roll a new character, you could, but they probably really don't expect people to do that.
They do give you the ability. I mean, like when you load up your game, like you have the instant ability to create a different, like a new character completely, but I don't understand the purpose of it.
Yeah, I really don't know. Maybe if you share one account, I mean, that really, like with family members, that would be the
Yeah.
only thing that I can think of.
I agree.
So that all being said, like I am enjoying the game. I do find it a little bit, I don't know, overwhelming. All the stats that are being thrown at me. Like I understand, like my DPS. That was a weird noise.
That was weird. I don't know what that was.
I understand, like, my DPS is, how much damage am I outputting, per second to enemies. I understand that my health is, like, how much hit can I take. What the fuck is tech? How does that affect me? Like,
so
if
tech
I'm specializing...
affects, like, it'll impact things like your turret, it'll impact things like your healing capabilities. So, like,
But where does it ever tell you that?
It doesn't. Like, anywhere, you just figure it out as you go.
So everything's kind of just, hey, like, figure it out as you go. It's all contextual.
You know what? So it could be told to you in other ways, like through NPCs that you talk to, that I always skip all those conversations. So, I mean, there could be things that kind of, like, teach you that kind of content throughout the game that a lot of people probably just ignore, to be honest.
Yeah.
But it plays a huge role, man. Like, for example, like, right now my character at level 30... I'm level 30 character with a level 28 Dark Zone rank. So I have 95,000 DPS at like 70,000 health and 21,000 tech. So before my tech was at like 9,000. So if I click the button to like heal my character, like my quick heal, it would heal 1 bar. Now at 21,000, it heals all 3 bars completely. So it definitely does like make like a huge difference for you.
So it's basically like an extra health pack then.
Yeah. I will say the game, like, what does frustrate me is like how buggy some of the content is in the game right now as well too. And it's expected for a game like this size. Like, I just assume it kind of would happen anyways. But nonetheless, it does make core parts of the game very frustrating. Like, I'm not talking about like doors and things like that bug out here and there. I'm talking about like a mainstay of the game, like you just kind of mentioned, like your character like inventory system. Things that, like, they still don't, like you said, explain, and that I haven't really figured out. I'll give you an example. I bought a gun last night that has, like, if you just look at a gun, it'll show you, like, its damage, right? Not its DPS, but just its damage, its core damage. And I bought this gun last night that said it had a core damage of, like, 7,600 something. My current gun had a core damage of, I think it was, like, 5,600. I'm like, wow, dude, I put all my mods on that new gun, and it's going to be fucking pimp. Like, my DPS is going to have to shoot up, crazy. I put all the exact same mods on it that were on my previous gun, and I have the same skill set. It's still an assault rifle, so all my bonuses to, like, assault rifle damage and what have you still carries over, and the gun was doing 10,000 less damage than what my current gun was. Like, makes zero sense.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense at all.
Yeah, either the game is bugged, or it's just, again, they're not doing a good job of explaining and letting you know, like, what these things mean and how they impact you.
Were those weapon parts that you were modding your weapon with at a lower level than your level, like the level that you were currently at?
No, so all my mods are level 30 mods, and both guns were level 30 guns. One just had a higher damage than the other one. And by a pretty considerable amount.
And that weapon started when you modded it, and when your like attributes went down. Like, it started with no mods at all.
When I put all the mods on the gun, it did not have a higher DPS than my current gun with those exact same mods, even though it was a higher core damage gun.
That's interesting.
Yeah. So I don't know, but even things too, like when you change your armor around, it won't like change and update your DPS. Like, if I put my gun on, like, like I have my main gun, I have my secondary gun, then I go to look at, like, my armor, it's changing my number around, like, when it shouldn't be, and it makes it look incredibly confusing. You have to, like, log all the way out, log all the way back in to fix it. We had tons of issues with the map last night as we were running around the Dark Zone. It kept bugging out and, like, actually turning upside down, and it wouldn't, like, load up. We had to log out and log back in to fix it. That kind of stuff's frustrating. Things that I hope that they address, to your point of, like, like, what don't you like so far? Like, so the Dark Zone, when you go in there and you're killing people, your backpack has 9 slots for Dark Zone gear. So you get to a point where you have to be incredibly picky, which at level 30, you probably pretty are. Like, I'm only grabbing, like, gold or purple armor and weapons. So 9's not a bad number. I mean, like, you'll run through a couple encounters before you have to extract. So it keeps you in the constant, hey, I gotta extract mindset. So... And extracting creates sometimes those tense battles because as you're extracting, other people come up and want to attack you to grab your loot. So I like that component. I don't think that 9 is a bad number for a backpack. But, dude, your stash is only 29 slots. So you think, you run 3 extractions, and you're pretty much filled up your entire stash. Now you not only have to exit the dark zone and go to, like, a safe house type thing, but now you have to go all the way back out of the dark zone, like the contamination area. You have to log all the way out of that and go all the way back to, like, a normal safe house or base of operations to clean out your entire stash, free it up so you can go back in the dark zone and run back to where you are. So it's just, like, such a lengthy process. I don't understand, like, why at this point, too, if they want to help, I guess, continue to drive, like, the advantage of, like, grinding to get money, grinding to get gear. Like, why not do something simple like Diablo does, like allow you to spend your in-game money to increase your stash size, your vault size, like Diablo did. Like, it just makes no sense not to give people those options if they're going to spend a lot of time in the dark zone, which is what the game wants you to do as an end result. Then why wouldn't you fix a core problem of what they've created themselves, which is limiting the amount of options you have to put loot into your stash?
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
Like,
It's stupid shit.
Destiny had that problem with, like, just the vault system for the first, year?
Oh my gosh, yeah.
So, I mean, you really couldn't hold on to a lot of stuff, and, like, I was a collector in Destiny, for the first...
you can't be, dude. Like, they want you to be,
yeah.
but they don't want you to be.
Yeah, but these guns also don't have cool names like they had in Destiny, which is one thing I miss.
Oh, no, I mean, like, Destiny wants you to be a loot collector, but they don't want you to be a loot collector. Because if they wanted you to be a loot collector, they would have fixed those things a long time ago. And I refuse to believe their comment of, the game's code limits how much vault space we can give you. Like, come on.
Yeah, then fix the code. I don't know. I'm not a programmer. I feel like you could make more space.
Well, they did at one point, but then they said, this is as big as we can go. Or we can't give you the ability to gather more glimmer than what you have. That all sounds like incredible bullshit to me.
Yeah. But I don't know. We're not designers, so, I mean, maybe there's something to be said for it. If anybody out there understands that kind of stuff, maybe you can explain it to us in a way that two non-development people can understand.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I like the game a lot. I'm enjoying it. I wish I had more people to play with. I do have, I don't know, like 3 or 4 people that I have the ability to play with, but
you know an easy way you could have more people to play with?
Yeah, I know what you're gonna say. I'm not even gonna entertain the idea of an answer from you. So we'll see, man. I got a shiny new piece of, like, I've got a new toy, and I want how it is.
Yes. I
just want to spend all the time on that.
You know what? I have to say, dude, like, I think you fucked up royally, by the way.
Why?
Because why would you do all that and invest what you have into that, but you don't have a fucking Oculus? Like, I feel like that's, like, such a...
So,
if you're
number
gonna have
one...
a PC like that, dude, you should have an Oculus.
So, number one, the graphics card that I have in here will not support an Oculus Rift.
Which is why you should have gotten a better graphics card.
I'm not as interested in VR as everybody else. If I want a VR, I'll buy a PlayStation VR. I have a PlayStation 4 that'll be able to do that.
Not going to be even as close to being as badass as Oculus
I understand. But those aren't the types of experiences that I'm really looking for right now. When they have, like, Generation 2 VR, and I mean, this could be a completely different conversation, but when Generation 2 VR comes out, I think that's going to be a lot more fleshed out. Dude, I was watching somebody play Eve Valkyrie from Kotaku.
Yes. Oh my god. And I watched that video.
It looked really cool, but, like, when he was moving his head, just the motion, like, if I was, like, looking at the left-hand side of his screen where the gameplay was, me watching that was making me feel sick just watching it on a computer screen. I can't even imagine how that would make me feel if I was inside the headset.
But that's the point, man, is to put you into that level of experience. Like, I want to experience that, dude. Like, I almost want to buy an Oculus Rift just to force myself to get a PC that can support it.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Like, we're going to be at PAX in, like, 3 weeks, and hopefully I'll get my first hands-on, impressions there. Hopefully we all will.
Dude, I guarantee Sony has to be there with PlayStation VR. I can't imagine that they wouldn't.
Whomever. Like, I want to get one of these things onto my eyeball so I can see what all the hype is about.
Yeah.
Jeff Kanata from DLC, man, like, he's hyping it up so much. He's actually super pissed right now because he pre-ordered and he hasn't received an email confirmation that his Oculus is shipped.
No shit.
Yeah, so if you guys are waiting your Oculus Rift, depending on how quickly you pre-ordered, you might be in for a wait.
That's crazy, dude.
But like along with that PC, I've been playing a lot of Rocket League. Are you cool with the Division conversation that we had?
Yeah, I'm cool with
Is there
it.
anything that you... Okay, we might circle back around to it. I've been playing a lot of Rocket League, which is now the third platform that I've owned this game on. I had it on PlayStation when it was free with PlayStation Plus, bought it on Xbox One, got the PC. My buddy's like, yo, you need to buy this. I'm like, nah, man, I already own an Xbox. He's like, nah, come on, like, let's do it. Dude, it looks... For a racing game where you're hitting a fucking soccer ball around an arena, it looks so fucking good. Like, way better than it does on the Xbox One.
Yeah.
Frame rates are incredible, like, never dip below 60. It's crazy. The one thing that I really don't like is that I can't play the game in full screen because I get terrible screen tearing.
Yeah?
And it was never, like, dude, when people were talking about screen tearing, when, like, I hear, you know... PC people talk about this issue, I'm like, I don't even know what the fuck you guys are talking about. That's not even a real thing. What is screen tearing? Oh, I know what it is now. It's really bad. Like, it just
wait till you go back to like some games like on Xbox One and PS4 and you see screen tearing there. It's like so jarring when you see it.
I've never noticed it, but maybe
God.
it's just something that my eyes were never tuned for, but now that I'm sitting, 6 inches from a 23-inch monitor, maybe I'll be more cognizant and more aware and see this more often, and then I'm just going to get pissed. But it's just, like, ridiculous to think that, you go out and you spend, $8, $9, $1,200 on a computer, whatever you end up spending, and then you got to fucking buy a $400 monitor just to get rid of that screen tearing? I don't want to go out and buy one of those NVIDIA G-Sync monitors. Like, that's just, it's too much. Okay, so I think that's good for the PC elitist talk in me that I've apparently become. Are there any other games that you've been... I mean, I know mostly been The Division. Oh, dude, so I meant to tell you this the other day.
Yeah, what's up, man?
I picked up Lara Croft Go on my iPhone yesterday.
Okay.
It was on sale for like 99 cents. Have you heard anything about this game? No? Was that a no?
No. Yeah, I said
okay.
no.
It is a puzzle game in a grid style where you have to move about the map. You're picking up collectibles and killing enemies without them obviously killing you first. But, dude, the puzzle elements in this game are so, like, fucking good. You've got to climb on top of these cliffs, and the cliffs can break underneath you, so you have to be very careful about which routes you take. So that way you can get back to where you need to go. You've got like these switches and these levers that you have to pull to manipulate the map in ways that get the enemies out of your way or put them in a vantage point where you can attack them and ultimately kill them to get to the end. If it's still on sale, it was 99 cents. It's normally
nice.
It's normally $5, but totally worth either of those price points. But if you can pick it up for $1, I highly recommend it for $1. I've heard a lot of games. I think it won Mobile Game of the Year for 2015 from a lot of like IGNs and Kotakus and what have you. But I mean, I probably put too much time into mobile games. But that being said, I'm really liking this one. So that, and I still play Adventure Capitalist every day, which I hate myself for because it's just the same loop over and over and over and over again.
Yeah, but it's easy to do.
Yeah. Yep.
Yep.
And I played a little bit of Portal on the PC too, because it's just a game that I had in my library, and that game's fun.
Dude, when are we gonna play some Torchlight 2? By the way, bro.
So I have access to it now. So I don't know. We got to sink some time into it though, right? Like that's a time sink.
Yeah, it is, man. I mean, like you'll definitely put. I think I can't remember. I think Kill and I like, put about maybe 45, 50 hours into it. So not like a ton, but I mean like at that range, like we were max level with really sick loot, and we'd done a bunch of stuff with mods. So I mean it doesn't have to be like a huge time sink, but it's a lot of fun, man. If you like Diablo, dude, it's like Diablo, but better in a lot of certain aspects.
Yeah, I'd be down to try it out. We should I don't know, when I get like some weekend days off and you've got like some vacation planned out or something, maybe we can sit down and play for a little bit. So, what do you say we move into news?
Let's do it, man.
Been a few things, but how about we do it after a short break?
Sounds good.
All right, we'll be right back.
You got it.
All right, everybody, welcome back to the show. Thank you for being patient through that small break. And it's everybody's favorite time of the show. I know it's mine, Michael.
Yeah.
News time.
What?
Not quite as exciting as last week's, because last week we were making up for about a month. But there's some stuff this week still. So last week we talked about PlayStation 4K or PlayStation 4.5.
Yes.
And we basically have all but a confirmation that this thing is going to happen. So, what sources are we seeing? I mean, I know the fucking Wall Street Journal reported on this. Like, when the Wall Street Journal posts about a video game rumor, typically they've got their sources lined up. And
do they have to, right?
Like, dude, you're talking about like one of the most sought after like newspapers and most reliable newspapers, like whatever publications in general, when it comes to reporting. So they're not going to do this without vetting, their sources and shit like that. So I read another article that said too that we should hear something about the PlayStation 4.5 before the VR launches in October. So that could mean we hear about it at E3. Could be sooner. It could be between, June and October. We don't know.
That's crazy, dude.
From what I was hearing is that basically this thing is, I don't know, this is just speculation once again, but the PlayStation 4K is basically going to be an improved PlayStation 4, upgraded GPU, but it's basically only going to be to handle the 4K video.
Yeah.
And have the compliance for 4K output. So, I don't know, do you think that we're going to see games utilized? We kind of talked about it last week, but just after seeing all these reports coming out, do you change your mind? Do you think that we're going to have games that scale based on hardware? Do you think we're going to have games that straight up just only run on the PlayStation 4K? Or do you think that games only run on the lowest common denominator of the hardware?
I don't know, man. Or do
they run better? Or do they run better on the PlayStation, 4K?
I think that I don't know. I think that they have to do it in a way that potentially meets both markets, because you want to give the people that made that investment into a better PlayStation 4 feel justified. Mm-hmm. And you still want to take care of, obviously, your 35 million clients that have bought into a PlayStation 4 thus far without making it hard or confusing for them. So
that's the most confusing thing about this, is that they already have that much of an install base. For them to put out a new thing after selling 35 million units in less than 3 years, I don't know. It almost makes me question Sony and their thought here.
Oh yeah, dude, I completely agree, man.
So, I mean, normally when we see console revisions from Sony, it's, hey, we made a more power-efficient, cheaper unit.
Yeah.
So more people can afford it. But this is completely different. So, I don't know. I think we'll see a device that scales based on... software scales based on what version of the PlayStation 4 you have.
Yeah.
Maybe a game that runs at 1080p and 30 frames per second on the PlayStation 4... runs at 1080p and 60 frames per second on the PlayStation 4.5. Something like that, Would it be hard to make games scale on a console similar to how they do on a PC based on your specifications that you have on a computer?
I have no idea, man. You would think that they could figure out a way to make it easy to, happen. To where somebody playing, I don't know, it's so weird, because, it's good timing, too, because an article just came out about the Nintendo 3DS from Digital Foundry, where they're talking about old hardware, new hardware, and how they're talking about the fact that a lot of the old hardware is still in the new Nintendo 3DS, but that it just wasn't taking advantage of it, because it would drain battery life on the older hardware. That, they increase the CPU to make it a little bit faster, but at the end of the day, a lot of that technology is still the same, but Nintendo just wasn't taking advantage of it. So unless they write a game specifically to benefit from it, like we were talking about Monster Hunter 4 and how it had like increased resolution, better frame rates, better textures. I shouldn't say resolution, I meant frame rates and textures. But unless like they specifically write the game to take advantage of it, then it's not going to. So would that mean that they would have to like write new code or release a patch to make all previous games somehow benefit from the new hardware, or would they not even see the value in doing that? Like, I guess, like, what do you think would happen?
I don't think there would be value for developers to go back to games that are 2, 3, 4, maybe even 5 years old on the 3DS and make them, quote-unquote, support the new 3DS just because it's a faster, more capable system. Those games were made with the older generation 3DS in mind. They run fine on that. You probably wouldn't notice a huge difference between the two. You know, a cartridge plugged into your 3DS versus your new 3DS. So I don't think that it really makes a whole lot of sense for them to do that.
Yeah.
Now, a game like Monster Hunter, I don't know if it was designed in mind with the new 3DS coming out, and that's like it was quote-unquote coded in there that, hey, like, expect more hardware, and if it is on the new hardware, then it's going to perform better. It might just be a situation where the CPU is just kind of doing that, I don't know, on its own. You know, increasing the textures and the graphical fidelity and the frame rates for sure. You know, that game wants to run at, you know, X frames. But if the hardware can't support it, then the frames are obviously going to drop, and that's what I think you see in Monster Hunter 4 for the 3DS. But when it's got that higher CPU, obviously can handle more. So I think that's what you're seeing, with at least from a frame rate standpoint. I don't know about the textures. That's interesting that Digital Foundry noticed a difference between the two, because I didn't think that game would have been designed in mind with the 3DS, or with the new 3DS in mind, rather.
Yeah.
So, but I don't know. I think I'm of the mind that every PlayStation 4 game from now until the PS5 comes out will run on any PlayStation 4. I guess I would like to see games scale based on the hardware they're being ran on. Because I don't want to feel like, you know, if Uncharted 5 comes out in 3 years and it's a PlayStation 4K or PlayStation whatever the next fucking thing is, I would hate to, as an original PlayStation 4 owner who maybe can't afford the PlayStation 4K, because I bought this assuming that this was going to be the only thing that I needed, you know, for the next 5-6 years. I would hate to be left out from being able to play that game. I would feel real shitty, and Mike and Sony should feel real shitty too, that if, hey, like, these people were given an unassuming promise that you're going to support this thing until the next thing is out. So, I don't know, man. It's kind of a gray area, because console gamers expect console experiences, and that means having a system that makes it an entire generation and plays every game you release on that thing. It's not a PC. So, but I also see it the other way too, that, hey, if you give me the ability to make my games look better, then maybe I'll take you up on that offer. So, but moving on, we finally, after, I don't know, what, 6 months, a year? How long ago was this game announced? I hesitate to call it a game. Anyways, Miitomo is finally launching. Nintendo gave it a release date of March 31st. So before they had said March, before that they had said the game, quote unquote, was going to be out before the end of 2015. Yeah. We were supposed to see Nintendo's first mobile thing before the end of last year, and we didn't. So then we were like waiting, like, March, okay, March, here it comes. Fucking the last day of March, we finally get this thing. Yep. Doing real well over in Japan, though. Over
dude, how many, I was going to say, how many downloads did they say?
It had 1 million downloads in 3 days.
That's intense.
And I imagine that they're selling outfits and shit out the wazoo, so...
oh, yeah, I bet.
I just want to see this thing. I want to see what it is, because the messaging has been kind of weird on it. Basically, you're friends with people, other Miis, and you talk to them, and you ask them questions, and you learn more about each other, and you can collect outfits and wear different outfits, and hey, I don't know, but I want to check it out and see what it's all about. Plus, I want to earn those Nintendo points, platinum and gold points or whatever. Start preparing for the NX. Speaking of NX, Michael.
Speaking of.
So what happened to that oval controller that we saw last week?
Complete fraud, man, right?
It was. I'm not surprised.
Yeah, either am I, dude. Like,
it was a really good fucking fake out.
Dude, like, how long did that go for? Like, so we had the first one, then we had the second one. The second one, I feel like, came out, like, sometime last week, and that one actually looked pretty legit. I mean, it was, like, a really nice-looking controller. I mean, it looked really sleek. It looked very, like, professional. The first one was kind of weird.
Yeah.
Like, I couldn't tell what was going on in the quote-unquote screen. It looked like some kind of weird mountain. Like, you just didn't really know what was happening with it. And it had this really weird plug-in adapter, which everybody was theorizing, like, oh, it's a prototype system, so it's a prototype, like, connection port for, like, a PC to interface with it. But, yeah, the whole thing was fucking fake, dude.
Yeah, so for those of you who don't know what we're talking about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, there was a image that was circulating the internet of a supposed NX controller, which looked eerily similar to that patent that we had seen get filed in December of last year. So it was a ovular, quote-unquote, NX controller with 2 analog sticks, some shoulder buttons, and no on-screen buttons. The screen spanned the face of the entire controller, even beyond the thumbsticks. And then that was pretty much, defrauded, pretty quick. And then a couple days later, we see this other image in this office with this same design, basically, tethered to what looked like a development kit, right? Or at least, locked into the desk or something, which Nintendo has been notorious of doing, locking their development kits to, desks of these companies. It ended up turning out, this guy designed this thing, sent it to a 3D printer, printed this fucking thing out, set it on the desk, and started snapping pictures. I mean, it looked real. It didn't look Photoshopped because it wasn't. This guy actually just had access to a pretty expensive 3D printer, and it looked legit. So, designed the whole thing. He posted a YouTube video. You guys can check out the NeoGAF thread of this whole thing. It's hilarious. But yeah, he basically defrauded the rumor himself because he was like, oh man, I've been getting people, but maybe I feel kind of bad about this now. I'm gonna let them know I was just fucking with them. So, but no, it was cool. I'm glad this isn't real. I hope Nintendo is going in a different direction than that patent. So,
it has to be.
The internet rejoiced, man. They rejoiced when that thing wasn't real. All right, so tell me about this Battlefield.
Actually, there's not really much to say about it. All we got is a couple rumors, rumor number one being that the new Battlefield that is coming from EA and DICE is going to be headed back to World War I. There's been some behind-the-scenes footage and conversation that this is what we're getting this year. So, but that's it. We haven't got any official announcements. It's just been a lot of potential leaks. And then hot on the heels of that, just today we actually got a new rumor that the new Call of Duty is going to be headed to an incredibly far-off future point, to the point of where it's going to be incredibly sci-fi based, very sci-fi heavy. So I can't remember what source posted this. It was on IGN and it was on Polygon. I can't remember who they referenced had leaked this information, but from everything they said, it's supposed to be a pretty credible source.
Call of Duty Halo.
Call of Duty Halo. What will be pretty exciting about it, though, is there's been a lot of conversation. It's been maybe about a year since we last heard about this, that Activision and Infinity Ward were going to remaster the original... Well, I shouldn't say the original, but Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. They did a poll on their website of, if we remastered and remade a Call of Duty, which game would you want? And Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 won by a landslide. It doesn't look like that's what we're going to get, though. It looks like more of the fact that when you pre-order the new Call of Duty game, it is going to come with backwards compatible versions on the Xbox One of Call of Duty Modern Warfare, so Call of Duty 4, and Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2.
You know what I feel like they should do? I feel like the Call of Duty engine needs some updating. because they've basically been using that same engine since Modern Warfare.
But that's how they do, right? I mean, they don't really care about...
Yeah, I mean, I guess it keeps development costs down, but they should take a year off. Not a year off, but a year, like, really digging down into the engine and, like, rehashing it. But during that year, they can have a smaller team work on getting Modern Warfare 2, like, a proper, like, HD re-release into our hands.
Yeah.
I would buy the shit out of that, dude. I loved that game. That was the first game I owned on my PlayStation 3. I would have bought it on Xbox 360, but I had a shiny new PS3 that I wanted to play it on. But yeah, that game was awesome.
Yeah.
So, I really feel like they should do that, but what do I know? I'm not a business person, so.
Yeah. I agree.
So, wait, was the Call of Duty Ghosts 2 thing, like, debunked? I thought...
So that's what they're saying the new Call of Duty is going to be. It's going to be Call of Duty Ghosts 2, because this is the year of Infinity Ward, but it will be set in the far-off future.
That's interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Because, like, that Call of Duty Ghosts, the first one, was very much set at, like, present times.
Yeah.
You know, like, modern weapons, I don't know. That's interesting.
Dude, Infinity Ward is such a former shell of itself anyways.
Yeah, I mean, all those guys are at Respawn now.
Yeah. So, I mean, it'll be interesting to see what we get from them and how that goes.
Dude, so I had a thought.
What's up?
Do we know what Rare is working on right now?
Yeah, they're working... We just talked about this last week. They're working on that Pirate MMO for the Xbox One.
Oh, yeah. I was just thinking about how we haven't gotten a Perfect Dark game since Perfect Dark Zero.
Yeah, I think we're good.
Nah, dude, I kind of like to play another Perfect Dark game.
I think they've ruined that license.
I don't know, man. Zero wasn't bad. That was a good launch game. For the 360.
Yeah, definitely.
You're so dumb. What's the consensus right now on like Oculus Rift reviews? I see that reviews are hitting the web.
Yeah, reviews are hitting the webs. So IGN had a lot of the pre-review reviews. It was kind of like their impressions so far, and they were incredibly positive. Man, I've only seen from the websites I kind of visit on the internet, anyways. The one review that did come out was Polygon. They had a huge write-up that I read through the entire thing yesterday or the day before, and they gave it an 8.5 out of 10.
Okay, my question is...
Said they were super impressed.
Do you think it's kind of dumb to give hardware review scores?
Nah, everybody does it. I mean, IGN, everybody gives hardware review scores.
Dude, I never remember seeing a hardware review score for an Xbox One or PS4.
Oh yeah, go on. They're on there. You can see them. They have them. Then they do like a year into it, like update review to see once if they adjust that score based off of, fixes to the software, updates to the OS. So yeah,
I don't know that I believe you.
No, they do. I read them all the time.
I don't know. I think it's kind of silly. Like, you want to review the things that run on those things.
No, because why wouldn't you? So that would be like, why would we ever get reviews on laptops or on desktops or on Apple Watches? Like, that would mean that anything that we use to consume content, cell phones, like, we would never get reviews on any of that stuff, because why is that any different?
Yeah,
Every single time a new iPhone or Samsung Galaxy comes out, they review it.
I guess you're right.
I am right. It's not, I guess.
Okay, yeah. IGN gave the Xbox One back in 2013 a 7.8.
Eat a dick!
Yeah, okay.
Hey, so you were wrong, and I was right, correct?
About what? This?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. We'll go with that.
Okay, perfect. You've actually admitted that you're wrong for once.
Oh my gosh.
I
hit
appreciate
this.
that.
What's this next one? Oh, Kingdom Hearts launched 14 years ago today as of the 29th, right?
Yeah, and actually, oddly enough, too, Kingdom Hearts 2 just launched 10 years ago as of today.
10 years.
In America.
So, time out. It's been 10 years since we've
that's the
gotten
reason
a
I put
proper
this in there.
sequel
Correct.
to Kingdom Hearts.
But they did show off Kingdom Hearts 2.8 Prologue Remix, Hyperdimensional, HD 5.1.
Remastered.
Yes. Dream drop distance times X. No, so they actually released a new picture of Kingdom Hearts. It's Kingdom Hearts X back cover. I don't even understand.
Okay.
It's something to do with a mobile game that's being implemented into the PS4 remaster. I don't even understand, dude. But they just released a picture of it today, and they talked about how it was the 14-year anniversary of the original Kingdom Hearts releasing.
I want to have like an entire conversation about the way Square like names their shit, or just Japanese companies in general.
You know what? I think it's just Kingdom Hearts. Kingdom Hearts seems to be like this, like
I understand Dream Drop Distance because it's 3D words and it was for the 3DS.
Yeah.
But beyond that, man, I don't even know.
I don't understand anything that they do. Yeah.
It looks like we have some more games trickling out for the backwards compatibility feature for the Xbox One. Those games include Dark Souls, Soul Calibur 2, Halo Wars, which I could have sworn was already on there, but I guess not. Assassin's Creed, King of Fighters 98, Tekken Tag Tournament 2, and Alan Wake. So anybody who picks up Quantum Break, I think, gets a free backwards compatibility Alan Wake if they don't already own it, correct?
That is correct. It's actually, I don't even think it's Alan Wake. I think it is Alan Wake American Nightmare was the game that you got for free for some reason, and Alan Wake was something different. I think if you pre-ordered it on the Windows Store, you got Alan Wake for free, but on Xbox One, you got American Nightmare for free.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. But Alan Wake's a good game. I recommend that game. Even if you don't if you don't plan on picking up Quantum Break, and you want a good 10-hour game, I would say pick up Alan Wake. That shit's good.
Yeah, and only 1 week to go for Quantum Break, man. I'm super
dude.
pumped.
Man, I think it might be too late to pre-order that on Xbox One to get it for free on PS4. I think that shit
on PS4, that'd be cool.
Sorry, on PC. my PC4.
Oh. But speaking of PS4.
Yeah, I didn't see this, so tell me about it.
Yeah, this actually, well, again, it's one of those things that there wasn't really much to talk about, just the fact that Sony has come out and said that they are looking into adapting the PlayStation VR for the PC market, potentially. That it is a conversation that they are having at the moment. So it leads me to bring two things before you're going to talk. I think either A, they're coming out and saying that the PS4 is not powerful enough, and they want to show what it's capable of, or that they don't think there's going to be as much of a market just on PS4, and they want to hit the PC market as well too, or that they want to try to sway away from people that are going to buy Oculus Rift or Vive, and try to get them to buy the PSVR instead at a lower price point, and then maybe that leads them into buying a PlayStation 4 or PlayStation 4.5 or 4K as well too. So I think, personally, I think it hits one of those potential three things.
I think the thing that it has, what in Sony's eyes, what they're hoping is, hey, if people buy this thing and can play their PC games on it, maybe at some point they'll buy a PS4. I think that part, yes. What I don't understand is that PlayStation really doesn't stand to gain other than that, because they're not going to make money on the games, because they're not going to be sold on their storefronts. They're going to be sold on Origin and Steam and shit.
Yep.
And whatever, Steam. You play whatever. They're not going to make a licensing fee off of a game from those markets because it is compatible with the PlayStation VR. Unless I'm wrong. Maybe if it has a special PSVR license and only works if it's a licensed game, but it's still a PC game, maybe they make something, but I don't think that's going to be a thing that happens.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I guess the more games that work for VR headsets, the better, because you're just opening that up and giving more experiences to people that would otherwise maybe have a smaller selection, a smaller choice of games.
Mm-hmm.
But if these other games, like we talked about Eve Valkyrie, earlier today, if that game is designed in mind with an Oculus or an HTC Vive, actually, no, I guess Eve Valkyrie is a bad example because it is being developed for the PlayStation VR. But other games that are considering these, I don't know, more capable hardware VR headsets. Whatever. I don't know. Lost my train of thought. There it goes. That's my one time for the episode.
And we're back.
It's something that we can always count on.
Yes.
We can always count on.
Why are you battling?
But yeah. So, April 3rd, we are potentially getting Pokemon Sun and Moon footage.
Yep. Yeah, that kind of came out today as well, too. So, we'll finally get our first look at what those games are going to be and what they're going to look like. So,
you know what I would love to see instead of this? An X.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
I know. Us Nintendo fanboys can dream. All right. That's basically all the news, I think,
Yeah.
unless we missed something.
Nah, that's it, man. I was just looking around.
That's basically it.
Nothing else that I've seen.
So if we had to round up today's episode, it would be that Jeremy wants to like Batman, but is finding more trouble in doing so.
Correct.
As time goes on. It's that VR is here, but I need to see it still. It's that Michael likes creating fuckery.
This is very true.
And annoying me at every step, including playing his analog when he should be focusing on the podcast.
Absolutely.
And that Square Enix, I don't know why I'm doing this. I'm like rounding up the episode. I've never done.
Hey, I was
this
gonna say, I
before.
really don't understand what's going on right now.
I don't know. I was trying to be funny, and like nothing funny happened. So,
Good one, bro.
all right. So let's circle back around to last week's what we wanted to be the topic of the week, the feature. Do you remember what it was? I do.
Yeah, I don't.
You had to choose.
I don't even feel like talking.
You don't want to do it?
That. I don't even feel like talking about it.
Okay. Michael's all tapped out, guys. All right. Well, how about I pose this as a question for this week for the listeners? We'll read their responses on the show if you guys respond. Do that at podcast@start-reset.com. And we will tell you like kind of like what our thoughts would be too on this. So the question is, if you had to choose one console that it was the only console you could ever own, what would it be and why? And are they allowed to choose PC?
Yes.
Okay, and you are allowed to choose PC.
No, actually, I'll say no, because then people
No?
will use that as a gateway to emulate and play other games, so you can kind of get the best of everything.
Okay, so your choices are now current generation or all previous generations as well. Like, are we saying like
I would say everything of all time.
of all time? So it's not like Xbox is all Xboxes. It's like, hey, like no, it's a Xbox 360 or an Xbox One or an Xbox.
Correct.
Okay, so yeah, there you go, guys. If you could only play one console for the rest of your life, what would it be and why? All right, and on that note, I think we're going to get out of here, guys. Thanks for tuning in for another Start Reset podcast. Bear with us as we're doing some transitioning here. So, especially me. So, Michael, where can we find you?
You can find me on Xbox Live and PlayStation Network at Hippo Eater.
Cool. You guys can always find me at Friction321 on most things. FRIKTION 321. That's on Xbox Live, Twitter, Instagram, Steam, whatever you have you. Make sure to follow the Start Reset Twitter page, start_reset. Follow us on YouTube. I found out that URL from last week. If it's easier for you to get the podcast there, that URL is youtube.com/startresetpodcast. Go figure. And we are at Twitch at start_reset as well. Thanks for listening, guys. And we will reset this thing next week.
Peace!
Bye.